Here we are, the dying embers of the 2023 GM's draft. We are in the middle of the fifth round. And for some reason, the fifth round appears to be taking longer than any round before it. Don't ask me to back that up with data, but just from a feel perspective, the fact that these are fifth round picks that normally half the round gets skipped on, we've taken about 2 days to get through the first part of the fifth round. But if there's anybody who loves pain as much as I do, especially when it comes to draft picks and trades, it's the Broncos and the Eagles.
Yeah, you got that right. Tough it out. I like having these late picks.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, this is surprising how long this is taking, but it's all worth it in the end, I guess.
This is true. Anyways, so when we dropped off last time, we were starting the fourth round, thinking, well, guys, it's Monday. Surely in a week, we'll be through the fourth and the fifth round. Because at some point, people are going to run out of years, or people are going to run out of, space. But people have been going to some pretty extreme measures that have been putting my previous year dances to shame to make sure they can keep space on their roster. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to call out the positives here about some of these picks. Won't go through all of them because we are at that stage of the draft. But for those that we like and those we want to give special kudos to, we'll go ahead and spend a little bit of extra time on. So I'll go ahead and start us at 402 because Jake Haener, his model shots for the glam catalog of the New Orleans Saints were just spectacular. I hope everyone had a chance to enjoy those in the chat because I've never seen anything like them. They were beautiful, and if this man doesn't make it in the NFL, he definitely has a future in gay porn.
Well, that's certainly an avenue that he could make money.
Yeah, he's trying to take on the Tom Brady role for all the male ad campaigns.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing if you're trying to look a little bit bigger, but like every single one of those photos was like, look how svelte and small and sort of compact I am. It's like as a
Yeah,
quarterback, I
he
don't know
was
if
like
that's
baby bottom soft kind of thing. It was weird.
yeah, this is not the image I want to be giving out to my team, my fan base, frankly, the rest of the NFL.
I mean, in the end, though, I'd rather have this happen than Jameis Winston eating his fingers.
Yeah.
I mean,
You say that, but he's going to be at the Met Gala next time.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, all right. Oh man, yeah, it's like the pick itself is interesting. I don't know what future he even has in the league. I mean, Derek Carr's not going anywhere for many years. So I don't know if this is like developmental or like a hope for Brock Purdy 2.0 kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's interesting given the names that were still available. But Jags does what Jags does.
It doesn't seem like an unreasonable gamble. I mean, you're taking a fourth round gamble on a quarterback that has fourth round like real draft capital associated with him. So chances are he's not going to do anything, but he's still early enough, like draft capital wise, that he might stay on a roster, be the beneficiary of an injury or two.
This is true. But hey, like I said, Jake Haener and his incredibly strong photogenic skills. We appreciate you. RJ, do you have someone in the next couple of picks that you really appreciated coming off the board?
Parker Washington. I thought that was an exceptional pick. Jacksonville's kind of crowded, but they do have a tendency to spread the ball around quite a bit. And I don't know. Outside of the starting three, I kind of question like how good the rest of the wide receivers in Jacksonville are. So I could see Parker Washington finding a way on the field and carving out a role.
Yeah, I was surprised he fell in the real draft, and I'm even more surprised that he didn't go earlier in our league. Like, just because of the fact that he's offense and the position is so unsettled on the team that he was taken from. It was a good snag for sure.
Look, despite the fact it's mine, I appreciate it either way. But I mean, if you look at the Fantasy Shark projection of 0 receptions for 8 yards, 0 touchdowns on 7 targets, I mean, it's not exactly something to shake a stick at.
No, but it's better than the projections for all the other wide receivers in this area.
Right.
I don't know that for a fact.
I mean, everybody's going to be projected at like 0 for 0 for 0, right? Like, that's just what this range is. But
Grant DeBose, 6 receptions, 42 yards, 23 targets.
Yeah, he's projected to be another second on the depth chart for Green Bay, right? And they have a questionable first with the other kid that they drafted early in the second. Or not, I shouldn't say early in the second.
Christian Watson?
No. The one they drafted this year.
Oh.
Jalen Reed.
Yeah. So like there's some chance that he outplays the mid-round wide receiver and becomes the wide receiver 4, potentially even the wide receiver 3 on that team. So I can understand why they at least project something. Do I think that's going to happen? Probably not.
Right.
All right, Bill, you're up.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple for sure. I mean, the two that stick out, the two that stick out, Joey Porter at 4'11". I mean, that's kind of obvious. It's like the range for corners to go, right? The 4th round.
Mm-hmm.
But the other one is Zach Kuntz at 4'13". I mean, he's got a bunch of people in front of him right now, like in the actual Jets organization, but like outside of Jeremy Ruckert, like they're all really not necessarily long-term assets, and the dude is legitimately like athletically freaky.
Yeah.
And I really like it. It may never pan out, but I mean, is it worth $880,000? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Both of those players were guys I was hoping were gonna fall to the 5th. I wasn't expecting them to, but I kind of said I think a couple of folks I'm not expecting to follow the 5th will, and I'll take them. And neither of them did, and it made me a little bit sad. But I think there's a lot of value there. So as much as we just trashed the Jags for the Hanner pick, turn right around and saying the Joey Porter pick in the 4th is really good value. RJ, anything you want to add to those two, or?
Not to those two. I agree. Further down, I like the 2 wide receivers that were drafted after Kuntz. Wicks was wide receiver drafted before the other Green Bay wide receiver that we just talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the Cincinnati wide receiver. Just from a physical standpoint, I think he is a freak, measurable wise, if I'm not mistaken, and was very productive.
Princeton wide receiver, man, I love it. We go deep here. So I'll go with 2 as well. I'm going to backtrack a little bit. I don't know a ton about him. I'm going to go ahead and tell the truth on that one. But for some reason, a lot of people seem to be getting very excited about Kenny McIntosh, and he goes to the 405 here, and coach speak from Carroll is saying that he's going to be involved in that backfield in kind of a three-headed role. Now, I believe it or not, we'll see. I mean, we've got camps going on right now, or mini camps going on right now, but that could be a really nice snag there. And the one that makes me sad, because I think I offered the 15 picks in front of this or the 12 picks in front of this after my 404 to see if I can get him as well and keep him from going to the Falcons, was Clayton Tune. So, Houston quarterback, I got it. Air raid is not exactly a path to success in the NFL. But let's put this in very simple terms. The two quarterbacks in front of Clayton Tune for getting starter points at quarterback are Jeff Driscoll and Colt McCoy.
Oh yeah, he's definitely got a chance this year
on a team that has two what should be high picks next year and is incentivized to go YOLO at just about any time.
Oh yeah, they're going in for the 101 and 102 next year.
And again, crazy scenario this works out. Tune becomes the handcuff for who? Kyler fucking Murray. Who the Falcons have? Like, come on, guys. Like, this is not hard. We can match up who's a likely destination for a draft pick and who has a pick coming up to see does it make sense to move in front of them to potentially take this guy. And Tune wasn't bad. Again, he's air raid, but if you look at what he was doing at Houston, not bad, especially if you consider, hey, look how good Tank Dell looked and where the Texans took him. So I loved the pick by the Falcons. I was disappointed that nobody else either wanted to take him or wanted to move in or let me move in to get him before Falcons did.
Yeah, that's no good. I was definitely disappointed to see him land in Atlanta for sure. But I also don't think much of it at all. Like generally speaking, like if he's useful this year, it's going to be for just this year, and that's whatever, But I don't know. I didn't think much of it to the point of worrying about it.
I mean, it was a good pick, but it's nothing crazy.
All right, fine. Don't let me freak out like I am. You guys and your cool heads and shit like that. All right, RJ, fire away.
I don't have another one. A lot of these picks are kind of like, who at this point? It just, even my picks are very questionable.
All right, I'm gonna go again then. Noah Sewell by the Cardinals at 422. Penei Sewell's younger brother, linebacker, Oregon. You look at how he played and the role he played at Oregon. I think he's going to be a really good fit in that Chicago defense, especially considering some of the pieces that they've lost and the way they want to play this year. So for a team like the Cardinals who needs to find some shots to help improve their defense going forward here, this is one that I think is going to pay off for him. Maybe this year, maybe it takes to next year, but at a very reasonable cost.
Yeah, it just depends on what role he ends up actually playing, because Chicago doesn't exactly have that position being needed anymore. He's literally a total depth piece.
All right, how about you, Bill? What are you thinking for next piece up here?
Well, I really am intrigued by these invalid picks that came
Huge potential.
but as far as like actual names, um, very surprised he didn't get to the 5th round, um, and uh, very disappointed that he didn't get to me. Just off of like general like rookie hype that's happening right now. Deneric Prince, the running back for Kansas City. I don't know what he's going to actually ever do, but right now he is looked at as like a really great sleeper option and a great depth piece at minimum, and at least at the very least he is going to make it difficult for Pacheco. But you know, I don't know. I think that Pacheco might have a grip on the job, but he wasn't exactly like set to be the guy. So you never know. And I mean, he was in the exact same position last year himself.
I'm starting to believe that the only position Andy Reid knows any of the players' names on are running backs, and that's why he mentions them in interviews so frequently.
Hey, that might be true.
Because like he can't always like. There's no reason why he just always hits on running backs. And he's like, oh yeah, this random guy that we took in the 5th or 6th or 7th round is impressing everybody, but nobody else saw it.
Well,
Yeah.
it's interesting because it's literally like one of their only positions of constant need. So it's like all he ever scouts is running backs.
Which cracks me up because you'd think that'd be the case if he just did nothing but, slam day 3 running backs, which he did with Pacheco and he did here with Prince. And if that was his MO, like that and, cast off veterans, that would make a ton of sense. It's like, but we just spent first round capital on a running back like 2 or 3 years ago. Like, you almost wonder if it's like afterwards, he's like, my bad. I never going to do this again. Can we just not talk about it? And he'll be gone as soon as he can be.
How many years removed are we from the Andy Reid only produces top 12 running backs discussion?
Um, since CEH arrived,
Okay,
yeah, because who was before him?
I don't
Shady.
know.
McCoy.
Yeah, that's right. Shady was there for a year, but before that, it was Kareem Hunt, and I think he had Jamal Charles for a little while when he first got there, but I don't know if that timeline matches up.
I like
Yeah.
that story, so we're going to go with that.
All I know is there was like a ridiculous span of time where Andy Reid only produced top 12 running backs. And like, it feels like it's been a decade since then.
All right. So, Brandon, you're a late join. What was your favorite pick of the 4th round?
Oh, geez. You really put me on the spot.
You can say my linebacker from the Rams. It's fine.
No. Hold on. Let me see. Did everyone already go?
Yeah.
No, I mean, we all kind of picked a couple of picks we liked in the 4th, and
Yeah, just scrolling through here. I really liked Parker Washington as a player. That was 404. I was surprised Christian Gonzalez fell to 409, especially some of the other corners that went.
Ew, gross. Tall cornerback in New England. No, thank you.
Yeah, but New England corners are always like pretty good point getters in this league. Just
there goes Kyle Lowry.
Ignore Mike.
Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I thought like it was pretty good value for Gonzalez and Joey Porter Jr. in the beginning of the 4th here. I think Is that technically a 4th-round pick? Yeah, Browns. Who I feel bad. My brother was over contract year, so he had to drop KJ Henry, and then Browns got him like 10 or 15 picks later. I thought that was a pretty good pickup for him. Yeah, that was like the second to last pick in the round. So yeah, I'd say those are a couple of folks that jumped out.
First. All right, we'll move down to the 5th. Because I get to host the podcast, I'll go first, and I think I'm going to pick everybody's favorite, and that's Dorian Thompson-Robinson. Look, I get that he's behind Deshaun Watson. I get Deshaun Watson is guaranteed money until forevermore, and there's no way, barring major injury, that Dorian Thompson-Robinson is going to play or start meaningful games for the Cleveland Browns. That said, that is the perfect situation for him to be in. Behind a veteran quarterback where he has no pressure to start, he can be in a pro locker room and learn the position. And frankly, if he does that for a little bit, he could come in sub packages, and he could be spot start support for Deshaun Washington. So Watson. I didn't say Washington. God, I've been watching too much fucking mini camp stuff today with Dwayne Washington and stuff like that. But anyways, DTR. I like to move for the draft. I like the landing spot, and now I like where he landed in our league.
D. Winters. I don't know if we're supposed to comment on your pick or not, or just add others. Sorry.
What's that?
I got another pick. I don't know if folks want to comment on DTR.
No, I agree with the DTR, but I don't have much else to say.
Right.
Yeah, high upside swing for 5th rounder. Put at least the 3-year contract on him. Dolphins. I like D. Winters, linebacker that went to the 49ers. That was a Cowboys pick at 507.
Yep.
I feel like the 49ers linebacking core is I feel like there's someone that always gets play that you don't expect, just due to injuries and stuff, and he was a talent I liked, so I thought that was a really good swing.
Yeah, and again, they're losing players there. I really like that as well, and I was initially sitting at 508, and Winters was on my short list of players I was thinking about, and when he went, it was part of my reason to move out.
To be honest, I hadn't heard of a lot of these other guys.
I'd have to say Will Mallory, if anybody in the 5th so far. Nobody in Indy is really impressed at tight end, so there's at least a chance there. It is very unlikely because they've invested so much mid-round draft capital in tight ends as of late. But there's always a chance that he just impresses over everybody else.
There are 2 so far that I I like a lot here. JL Skinner, the safety in Denver. That room is so old, and it's going to make for a very interesting competition to see if Kareem Jackson holds the starting role after re-signing, or if he gets taken out by one of the younger guys. May never become anything, but he's got as much of a shot as anybody else. And this isn't like self-promotion. I'm just surprised he was there. Kobe Turner still being there midway through the 5th is crazy to me. I don't think there's another 3rd-round pick in the real NFL draft that's still sitting out there. I'm not really sure why he's still sitting there, considering he is, projected to take over for Donald. Should that day come next year or whatever, but at least be heavy rotation. But it was just surprising, like how he was still there. Like I had that guy pre-drafted for like 3 days, just like expecting it to not be there. Just surprised.
Well, good on you then. That's a great pick.
It was just a surprising fact that he was there still.
All right. Well, like I said, we're midway through the fifth. The 49ers are on the clock with the 5:16. I expect we are likely to see some teams start to post on the message board to skip the rest of their picks. But considering the more, I'd say, meaningful and clear declaration of tanking we've seen from a couple teams in the last year or so, maybe the contract years do exist to hang on to these guys, but we'll see what happens with these next couple of picks. We'll go ahead and move over to some of the trades that have happened since the last podcast. And then, again, I don't think it's been too substantial. We can start talking about if there's any teams that sort of unofficially people really like from where they were at the start of the draft to where they are now. So let's see here. I think the last trades were the trade back of Bud Dupree and Bradley Chubb between Panthers and I because we made an illegal trade. So I think we've got 16 trades since the last podcast. So we'll go ahead and move through. Or did we do was TJ Edwards part of the last podcast? I can't recall.
I don't think so.
Okay. All right. So let's stay with what we started here. So Cowboys give up Luke Farrell for nothing. The Texans drops $500,000 and 2 years. Texans also pick up Keyshawn Vaughn from the Panthers, 1 year, $3.5 million. So just taking on things to see what happens. Saints and Chiefs make a deal. TJ Edwards and 404 going to the Chiefs for Derek Barnett and the Chargers second next year. I mean, considering the Saints had to spend some cap to either franchise or transition or maybe even RFA, TJ Edwards, getting a second for him seems like good value. And, Barnett's contract sucks, but they'll be gone before he's ready to really compete.
Yeah, I just thought this is 24 hours after he publicly roasted my offer to him, which I think was way better than this one. So I thought that was interesting.
So 13 was me being a good Samaritan. I wanted the 404 for a specific reason. Parker Washington. Chiefs had acquired it and then thought he was in years trouble, so was willing to make a deal here. So I move in to get Parker Washington at 404 with that Denver third. Chiefs then turns around and flips that third with Jake Martin for Brandon Graham. Let's see. Moving on down. Bucks ship off Chris Moore for 415 and Green Bay's 24 fourth. I guess I know Chris Moore's always been kind of like that ancillary receiver in Baltimore, but do we feel like he's got a good path to targets in Tennessee?
I mean, they have Burks and not much else, right? Like maybe, but I don't really want to pay much for shares of that offense right now. I don't know who's there at 415. That might have been a better pick, but
everyone's always there.
he's going to be 30 over the summer here. Like, how much of an impact is he really going to have? I don't know. Perhaps he's just a player that our dear commish just loves.
Could be. Steelers dropping Hunter Long to the Texans for a 24 fifth. I was trying to shed some of my fourth round picks and was able to move my 433 and Jacoby Durant, who was, I think, the catalyst of
Yeah.
some
Of the
earlier
DK trade.
but again, willing to do that to move a fourth into a future fourth at this point. So that worked for me. Saints just flat out giving the Colts 522. It's good to have friends, I guess.
Yep.
I mean, if you're going to skip the pick, man, we'll give it to somebody who's going to use it. But get something, I guess.
I mean, part of me says that, but then at the same time, it's kind of like, do I really want to give people I'm competing against something, an asset that could help them for free? Absolutely.
I mean, are we really competing against Saints or Colts?
Are
Yes.
they big?
I mean,
Always and forever.
They're just there. But look like based on the roster construction, they're just there. Let them have their fun.
Okay, then. Titans moving off of 441 for 528 in a future fifth.
I hated this trade.
I
I feel like he could have gotten more, at least like a future fourth or something. A late fifth and a future late fifth is meh.
So I understand hating it, but in Titans' position, I don't know what his year's situation looks like. And a fourth round pick, you have to give a 4-year contract to. I'm fine with the idea of moving from a fourth to a fifth because I don't want to give him a 5-year contract and a 4-year contract and then getting a fifth on top of it. This is a pretty far drop, and considering that the Titans are looking to package this with this other fifth for a future fifth, makes me think it was sort of half thought out, but we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like there's other ways of getting your years down than like taking a loss on picks. But he's at 98 right now. I don't know if there's other trades that he's done that has impacted this. So he would have had to make a move to make the pick.
All right. Well, enough of picks we don't like or trades we don't like. And here's one. I mean, guys, can we stop making life easier on the Jets, please?
Yeah,
Please.
I thought this was a steal for the Jets.
A quarter, Jacoby Brissett it is not a long-term fantastic quarterback, but he only has Sam Howell in front of him. He's going to start games this year.
Yep.
That 536 and a future fifth for a fourth?
Yep.
Like that's the price of a backup quarterback who's going to start games this year?
Yeah, I'm disgusted.
So interestingly, when he put Brissett on the block, I offered him Mike White for Brissett straight up because I was like, both of these guys have a chance to start, but one of them is cheaper and on 1-year deal. And he turned it down. And I guess we realized later because he ends up drafting a quarterback at whatever pick this is. So I assume
Sean
that's the reason.
Clifford. So
Yeah.
yes, and I get Jeremy is a huge Packers homer. Fantastic. Sean Clifford's fucking awful. Just again, I took Parker Washington, so I watched plenty of that tape. Sean Clifford has as much chance of starting in this league as I do.
Yeah.
I think Jeremy's watching, and I don't think he appreciated that comment.
I think I'd rather have Jacoby.
Oh, no, never mind.
Have that fourth. No, he's just complaining about MFL.
MFL is doing stupid MFL shit. I mean, he'll circle back and tell me I'm an asshole, but by all means.
That was just perfect timing.
I appreciate that. It works out sometimes. So I'm in the next 3 trades because, of course, I am. So 2 of these were basically stacked on top of each other. Was looking to move out of the some of my fifths or trying. Initially, I wanted to consolidate players so I could make my fifths. But nobody draft time wants to do that. There's only one thing everyone wants, and it's fucking disgusting. It's called draft picks. So I moved my 503 to the Dolphins for 514 in a future fifth. My 504 to the Patriots for their fifth next year, which should be in the same range, if not better. And then move 508, 512, 514, and 517 to pick up the Chargers third in 2024, which, again, I like these picks. I want to make these picks, but a third for 4/5, like, sure.
Yeah, that never should have happened.
Yeah. I mean, granted, they are all in the first 17 picks of the fifth, but like we're looking at, we just went through the players, and there was like one player we each liked of the like 15 or so that have been picked. So like a third, I was steal. Like I was surprised by that.
And again, I've got a couple of players I really like here, but it's like, okay, yeah, I'm taking a fifth round shot on these guys.
Yeah.
All right. We did skip over Chiefs getting Jerome Baker for James Houston and Malcolm Rodriguez, which
I don't even want to talk about it.
It's a classic goose trade. It's, hey, here's two guys who are impacted by the draft in a negative way, but still have good stats from last year, and MFL thinks they're going to be good next year. So let me get a player who's going to be more productive than those guys, and someone else gets to catch two falling knives.
Yeah, he found a sucker. Like, that's what he did. He found a sucker. They both lost their jobs.
Yeah.
Like, what the shit? Goose hasn't become better because of his draft picks whatsoever. He has become better because he found suckers in the 4th and 5th round to take these stupid fucking deals he's been offering out. And it's disgusting. It's so gross. And the one that's coming up, I'm furious about.
You know what? I don't hate this one as much because the player traded, although we probably think he had higher value than where he was taken, was a back end of a 3rd round pick. So he traded Marlon Humphrey and a 4th round pick for a back end of a 3rd round pick. If I present it like that, I don't hate this. The fact I put the name Trey Tucker on it, and now word is coming out of Las Vegas that they're thinking about parting ways with Hunter Renfrow and having Trey Tucker take more of a spot in the offense. That's what makes me upset about this deal.
Yeah. And we all said we really like this pick when we reviewed the 3rd round. So, to then go right ahead and sell it, I was so very surprised by it.
Well,
I did think we should maybe spotlight the Baker. So like that was, he broke Roquan into Baker plus, which he then further broke down into Malcolm Rodriguez and James Houston. Who took James Houston's job? What player did I miss that they took?
I don't even know who took Rodriguez's job.
Jack Campbell.
Well, there's also the old dude with the long hair who likely won't play. Yeah.
They're both starting. Anzalone's getting paid like $20 million.
No.
Cap is fake. Yeah, I don't know.
I
don't think it's a guarantee that Malcolm Rodriguez does not have a pretty large role.
Sorry. So James Houston is still the starting strong side linebacker according to our lads, but I don't know what that means. When you look at the rest of the names, it doesn't look like anybody actually replaced him.
Yeah. Okay. Because like when this first happened, I was like, I like Baker, but I think I'd take both those guys instead of him. So I was kind of surprised by the reaction here, and turning Roquan into essentially 4 linebackers, I think, because he drafted Henley with the pick. I think there was another linebacker involved. Maybe not. Let me see if I can go back that far.
One suggestion, don't really trust our lads because by
No,
their
it's
standards,
just the one
I
I
have a
went to.
bunch of starting linebackers.
Yeah, it's just the one I went to. I mean, the names around it don't mean anything. Like Julian Aquara,
Yeah, don't get me wrong. It is a good site and a good tool to use just to get an idea, but don't put a lot like whether they're first or second in the depth chart. It's like to me, it's all kind of the same.
Yeah, they don't
Like,
do anything realistic until it gets to the week one.
yeah, like when I see somebody at number 2 and 1, I just go, okay, those are the two guys that have a chance at or that are most likely to be starters.
So the Roquan trade was Baker the second that he took the Chargers linebacker with, and then a late fourth. So he turned Roquan into Malcolm Rodriguez, James Houston, something Houston, and Henley. I don't hate that, especially since two of those pieces are very cheap in Rodriguez and the Henley, the new linebacker.
Yeah.
Just thought it was an interesting kind of like domino trade to follow.
I'm just kind of shocked how like I thought everybody loved Malcolm Rodriguez last year, and now it's like crazy how everybody's off of him. Where
Well-
like I thought the other linebacker that was drafted this year was just going to be a great complementary piece to their linebacking core.
I mean, it could be a situation where we're looking at like linebacker by committee, and you shouldn't want to use any of them.
Yeah, tackles are tackles. I don't know. I think that's fine. I think for what it's worth too, like Miami, like Baker is not necessarily guaranteed a long-term piece there either.
No, they've wanted him gone since they gave him an extension.
Yeah, and they just brought in
David
Long, who I love. They drafted the dude last year, whose name I'm just blanking on, but the Panthers owns him.
Channing Tindall.
Yep, Channing Tindall and Q. So like, I don't know if Baker is like, he's not like a Fred Warner in their linebacking core. He's current starter, but might not be there long term.
And there we are. We're through the trades.
Pod over.
Yeah, I think pod over.
Nothing else to talk about.
No, so didn't you say you wanted to talk about like any teams that we think like improve themselves over the draft?
I mean, yeah, we can go ahead and do kind of an introductory of that. We'll spend the deep dive once the draft is all over. I think one team's kind of obvious, and even though I'm the host, I won't take it. I'll let RJ. I'll let you jump in first and see if there's a team that you think really jumped out and put themselves in a great position this draft.
You mean somebody that won the draft?
Yeah.
It would have to be the Jets just by volume of first round picks.
Well, and the fact they got their quarterback still out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Bengals for me.
I mean,
Bengals for you?
Yeah. He doesn't need to worry about anything past 111. His team is fine with just those two additions.
I don't know if he like won the draft. I think he did well to get a quarterback.
You got Chase
No,
Brown.
I think Mike won the draft. Like when we're like
yeah.
he did the best like moving around, acquiring extra assets, and getting a lot of quality players, especially in the early rounds, especially the first.
Yeah, Nolan Smith is going to be very, very hopeful.
I was going to say the Jets, and then my next team was going to be the Falcons. He came into the draft thinking, is he going to be able to make his picks? He's coming out of the draft with almost $18 million of cap space, who I feel is the handcuff to Kyler, and the rest of his team's not looking too shabby.
Mayer sliding for him in the first, I think, was really great.
Yeah, he's got Mayer. He made the move of flipping Jacobs for Watson.
Yeah. Yeah.
which is nuts.
Add a Robert Beal, again, a late guy, but still an option there at San Francisco. And now he's got $18 million of space to do things with.
Yeah. Seahawks, I think, is another one that had a really. I mean, obviously, like the teams that had a shit ton of firsts are probably going to be on this list, but got Anthony Richardson, got Jackson Smith-Njigba, got Josh Downs, a player that I thought fell, and then in the later rounds got some really nice pieces too. The second tight end drafted by the Green Bay, whatever, but Dorian Williams, the linebacker for Buffalo, Brian Breesy, the defensive tackle from the Saints. You know, he got a couple nice. Sean Tucker, the running back, who was an undrafted free agent, but like everyone really liked going into the draft. I think he added some really solid pieces and continues to be my favorite of the tankers.
I like what Texans did. Like, it wasn't a lot, and he wasn't like the winner of the draft. I just like what he did here. Like, he got Jahmyr Gibbs. He basically traded JSN for Garrett Wilson, and he got IDP pieces. Like I said, not a winner by the draft. I just like what he did.
That works.
Yeah, I still think he should have taken Stroud and just held him hostage, but definitely got some needed pieces.
He's a Watson believer.
Oh, he's a Browns fan. He's got to be. He's locked in.
You got to believe.
Yeah.
All right. I know we've had a couple of pods go over the hour and a half, 2 hour mark recently. So it's sad to see us back under the hour, but it makes sense here. So we'll go ahead and shut this one down. We'll do something more substantial with the next one where, God, if we're not done with the fifth round by next week, I'm breaking knees. But in the meantime, hope everyone enjoys, and we'll get into some of the post-draft content next week. So peace out.